Hello everyone, welcome to my art room. I'm Danae, and today I thought I would share a fun little video. I don't normally record these. I have a notebook, two notebooks actually, that were gifted to me by dear friends, and I use them humorously. I call them my ugly art notebooks. And so you saw the title, no pressure, create ugly art. I want to explain a little bit what I mean by creating ugly art and what these ugly art notebooks mean to me. So I am a recreational artist. I took some art classes in school when I was younger, but I've never seriously studied art. And so a lot of what I've learned about art has come from practicing and experimenting and seeing what I can create. I have, in the last few years, taken some classes. There's quite a few amazing artists on YouTube who offer classes, and I have purchased some of those classes and taken some of those classes and really enjoyed um, those opportunities to learn more. But really, a lot of my art I've learned from the doing, from, in this case, making ugly art. And so while I am trying to improve my artistic talents and my creations and find my style and find things that I enjoy, I just keep making art. And in these two notebooks, I'm going to use both of them in this video. I allow myself to just create. I I come in with no expectations, and I don't put any limitations on myself. So I can use any color, I can use any kind of art supply, and I'm not worried about creating anything beautiful. In fact, no one really ever sees what's in these books because this is just for me. And it's fun. I also have kind of I don't know, a superstition. Like, I have to create so much ugly art in order to make something that I really love. I have books and binders and notebooks and art journals full of art that I don't really love, that I think is ugly art. And every once in a while, after producing a bunch of ugly art, something really lovely comes out of me. And I really love seeing that beauty come out. So I kind of tempt fate, maybe. This is my way of tempting fate a little bit by purposely creating ugly art. I get all of the uglies out of me so that I can then make something really beautiful. And it is a joke in that I don't really think the art is ugly. I think there are redeeming qualities. I think the colors are pretty, and I certainly learn from the experience of creating. And it's fun to use. Sometimes I pull out things that I very rarely use, or maybe I bought some paint that I ended up not really liking the color, or I like to mix paint a lot. Maybe I mixed some paint that just never became the color I thought that I would use. And so I don't use it. So then I can use this to create my ugly art. And so here I flipped through some of my, this is a journal I've only recently started using. And this is literally, you know, a journal for writing. And so the pages are quite thin. So I've glued, I think 3 pages together. And this was a gift from someone, and it's a beautiful gift. And I don't in any way mean to demean the gift by calling it my ugly art journal, because it's a valuable resource to me, as I was saying, to create ugly art. And it's not ugly. I think it's still pretty. It's just not going to be art that, you know, maybe anybody else likes. So even though I'm a recreational artist and I'm making art to please myself, to have a hobby, I love the process of creation. I think that this gives me an outlet. It also helps me, you know, it's kind of a hobby. It fills some time. I'm trying to build this YouTube channel, so maybe at some point I will have some income from this as well, but really I just do this to please myself. But I am trying to create art that is enjoyable and not just for me. You know, I really love it when my family likes something I've created. I love it when, you know, if you're watching my YouTube channel and you give me a like or you give me a comment, like that is lovely, and I really, really love that. I really appreciate it. So I'm still trying to create art that is beautiful, but I have to get the ugly art out too. And I really do mean that in a lighthearted way, because the process of creating has value in the process of creating. And I truly, truly believe that. So these stickers that I put down to begin with, these are labels like you would get to mail out a package or maybe to label something in your home. And I've painted them. And I've been thinking about doing a video on that. There is an artist on YouTube, Carrie. I can't think of his channel name. Carrie the artist. Maybe you know him already. He's in Wales, and he was the one that originally inspired that idea to paint labels and to use them as stickers. So you can go and check him out if you haven't seen that video. He creates many, many, many videos, but I'm pretty sure that there is probably multiple. There are probably multiple videos on his painting these labels. They're just mailing labels. So here I'm just trying to splatter some paint, some random paint, and it didn't work out. I could have splattered it, you know, using the paintbrush and tapping it off. But again, see, this is experimenting for me. Could I splatter paint using a dropper? And no, I ended up not splattering the paint very well. So I learned something. So the reason I started these two particular painting experiments is because my daughter asked me to make a painting for a friend, a piece of art for a friend, and for a birthday present. And she gave me these specific colors, so it was pink and purple and light blue. And so I didn't really know what I wanted to create for that. And again, see, so this is now something for someone else. So I don't want to do an ugly painting for someone else. So here I'm just experimenting with colors, and I'm using this also as a warm-up. I find that doing warm-ups for art help me to create better art as well. I'm not sure what's taking so long here, why I've kept this bit of video in. Normally I edit out things like this, so there we go. I'm switching to collage. So I wanted to play with the colors and see just kind of what came out, so that I could get some ideas for what to create. And actually, throwing in this bit of collage here in my ugly art really influenced what I ultimately created for my daughter to give to her friend. I ended up not painting at all and did a collage for her. So this was really helpful to kind of get my mind processing what I wanted to create. And I'll include a picture at the very end of the card. It ended up being just a card that I created for my daughter to give to her friend, and it's a sweet little collage. I had fun making it, and this helped. So yeah, go create some ugly art. It'll help you. As I was saying at the beginning, I also call it ugly art just because I allow myself to do whatever I want. And if I end up putting too many layers or making really ugly colors, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the ugly art book. So I'm going to let all that, that was matte medium I was using to adhere everything. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm just testing here to see if this paint is dry. These Tempera paint sticks are really fun to create with. I mean, they feel like painting with lipstick. They just are super creamy. When you first put them on and they're wet, you can scratch through them, you can smear them. They're really malleable, but they set pretty quickly. And then once they're set, they stay in place. You can paint on top of them. You can put medium on top of them, and they're not going to smudge or smear once they've set. So it's a fun little product to try. And I'm pretty sure I just bought mine from Amazon, but I know they're also available in other art places. So you might look into adding this to your art practice if you've not ever had the opportunity to try these. If you're an artist, I would love for you to leave me a comment and tell me, what you do for your warm-ups, or the way that you've found is helpful in your creating. Do you have ugly art practice as well? I just thought of his name. It's Carrie the Crafter. That's the guy's name on YouTube that I was talking about. So here I was using my Posca Pen, and it's getting low, and so I was being kind of aggressive, trying to get the paint to come out to the tip, and I pulled out too much paint, and so then I thought I could splatter it, and it did. It splattered really well. So again, probably would never have tried that on a piece of art that I was really enjoying. But that was a great, fun experiment. So this is a new stencil. I've just gotten it, or recently I've gotten it. This is called Fiddly Ferns. It's from Joggles. It's an Elizabeth St. Hilaire stencil. And I've seen, so Elizabeth St. Hilaire is another mixed media artist that you can find on YouTube. And I've seen her use Fiddly Ferns with her jelly printing quite a few times. And the results are always really fun. And so I've actually been kind of had my eye on this stencil for a while, and yeah, recently bought it. There's a few other stencils that I've bought. I'm excited to give them a try. So here I'm just using Fiddly Ferns to bring some white back into this painting. It's also extraordinarily crazy, right? There's not very many places right now in that book that are kind of unified or calm. There's no place for the eye really to rest. It just keeps circling in all that craziness. So I thought the Fiddly Ferns might just help give the eye of the beholder, which is normally just me, and in this case it's all of you as well, a place to rest if you're looking at this, and kind of a focal point. But I like, it's kind of a lazy focal point because it's very pale. I'm not painting it in very opaque, so it has this translucency still as well. So again, you know, playing with light, dark, round shapes, straight shapes. You know, the collage elements have very strong edges. You can see very clearly where those collage pieces stop. And then, you know, the painting behind it is more smeared and does not have very obvious edges. And then these collage elements are not collage, sorry, the stencil elements, you know, have the really dark purple dots, which are small and very precise. And now I have this, which is a much bigger element. It's very pale. So one of the things that make art interesting is, you know, the opposites. So if you have a really dark color, you know, contrasting that with a really light color. If you have some big shapes, having some small shapes. If you have some really opaque areas, then having translucent areas. And so that's something else that I'm still learning and I'm still playing with. And so here in my ugly art journal, I can play with those elements and practice without worrying that I'm going to make something ugly because it's supposed to be. In my ugly art journal, it can be whatever it wants. I do play a little bit I think I edited it out because I didn't keep it, but I do bring my Posca, my white Posca marker back in to play with making these little funky shapes more opaque. And I think I painted in a few and then didn't like it and blotted them back out again. So you certainly could continue to add more white and create something more opaque. And I'm pretty this is the end for this one. So now I go to my other piece. And here's what I mean. You can see the Tempera paint, that purple, the purple dots and the hot pink magenta sort of dots are now set, and so I can apply the acrylic paint over the top and they don't smear or smudge. They're not going to move once they're set. I love pink. I love painting with pink. I don't wear pink. I certainly don't decorate with pink, but I love to paint with pink. Pink is like one of my favorite colors to paint with. It ends up in just about anything that I do, unless I'm working with a very specific palette. I've been using the Color Cube by Sarah Renee Clark to make videos and to try different palettes, and there's not a lot of pink in the ones I've done so far, so that's been a good art practice for me. But given my natural tendencies, pink almost always ends up in my palette. I don't know, it's a happy color. It can be bright and light. It can be very dark and dramatic. I just love pink to paint with. It's a fun, happy color. Let me know if you have a go-to color. What's your happy color, your happy painting color? I'll tell you one that doesn't naturally show up in my paintings is yellow. I have a very hard time painting with yellow. And Sarah Renee Clark with the Color Cube uses a lot of yellow. So that's been a challenge for me. These Neocolor pencil or crayons are also water soluble, and I'm just scratching, so that pink paint is still kind of wet, and so I'm scratching the paint, I'm scratching crayon into the paint, which is why I'm not getting a very defined line while that paint is still wet. These colors you can use sort of like a watercolor. You can add water to them and they'll move and smear and smudge. You can use them to make color washes and they will remain water soluble. They don't set. So like the Tempera paint sticks will set, these will not. So if I really want to make sure these lines stay in place, I'm going to need to spray them with a fixative because they will continue to move. So now that paint is more dry and you can see I can make a sharper line. There are several fixatives on the market. So if you're using anything that's water soluble, you'll want to fix it with a fixative spray. So I have this really beautiful ink. It's actually an iridescent purple. And I decided to just let it drip down the page. This is just water, but I'm using it so that it will move. This is going to be the last element I add to this page. I decided to leave this one pretty crazy. I actually really like crazy art. Like in my heart, it's just must be chaos because like I love to create chaotic, crazy art. And you know, that's not everyone's cup of tea, but like it makes my heart happy. So this is where I'm gonna let this dry. I do have some pictures at the end of the dried pieces. And thanks for being with me today. I don't know that I'll post very many of these ugly art sessions. I mean, if this really touched you in any way, let me know, and I'll I'll keep posting. But I hope that you will pull out your art supplies and have fun and create and learn, and you're going to become a better artist for having, you know, created more art. And maybe don't always worry about a perfect product. And, try some ugly art, see how it works for you. If you enjoyed these, and maybe even if you didn't enjoy this one, there are some nicer projects that you can watch. I hope that you have a great time creating, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!